This is Dave Espino, and on today's Daily Hustle, we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics, and that is cars, and specifically classic cars from the 60s and 70s. Now, this is me in front of some of my cars that I owned a while back. I had a 69 Shelby GT 500, a 1970 Mach 1 Mustang, and a 1970 Chevelle. And man, I love these cars. I've always loved cars since I was a kid. Playing with little toy Hot Wheels cars. Eventually, my eBay business became selling vintage collectible Hot Wheels cars from the 60s and 70s. There's a specific era from about 1968 to about 1973 that captured the essence of vintage Hot Wheels cars, and I was selling hundreds and hundreds of these cars using my special techniques for finding them and then selling them on eBay. In this video, I'm going to share with you a couple of ideas about flipping cars. Every car flip that I've done has generated at least $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000. When I flipped this Shelby, that generated this car here. That generated a significant profit, something like $38,000 in profit. And you can do the same thing. It's very easy to buy cars locally in your local area for less than you can sell them for nationally. I call that geographic arbitrage, because when somebody's trying to sell a car through traditional means, like in the Auto Trader or in local Craigslist ads or whatever, they're really limited in their audience. They're limited in the number of people who actually see that car for sale, and therefore they're often forced to receive less money for their car. Where what you can do is buy that car for cheaper because the audience for that car is smaller, and flip it onto eBay, which is an international marketplace. eBay Motors allows you to sell anywhere in the world. In fact, I've sold cars, even though I live in Southern California, I've sold cars to Texas, to Atlanta, to Philadelphia, and to Florida, as well as one of these cars went to Australia as well. So in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about flipping cars. I'm also going to show you what inspired today's video, and that is I went to the Street Machine Nationals in Pomona, California today. So I'm going to share some footage that I shot there of the autocross, which is always very exciting, and as well in this video. So let me share with you one of those videos really quick of the autocross.
That's his best time so far. Just hit spin out.
All right, so that was a lot of fun to watch, right? And you could see the kind of power that these muscle cars have, and that's one of the reasons I love them. I love the power, I love the styling. You know, nowadays cars look so bland, they're so boring looking because of EPA standards or whatever reason. They try to make the cars more fuel efficient, more aerodynamic, so they slip through the wind better and therefore get better gas mileage. But man, in my opinion, there's no substitute for the cars that you see here. These types of cars where they still had a tremendous amount of time put into the design of the cars and into making them look good. So this is me in front of one of my favorite cars, the Mach 1 Mustang. It was a 1970 Survivor car. Bought it from my wife's aunt, and she and my wife's uncle had bought the car brand new in 1970 and kept it really, really well. And then there's the car that I bought to flip. This was a 1968, I believe, Chevy Caprice lowrider that had hydraulic lifts and everything. And this car we bought for $5,600 locally, but we sold it for $8,500 on eBay Motors. So there's a significant little profit there. Plus, I had a chance to drive a lowrider, which I really enjoyed. This was a really nice car. The kids loved this car because it could bounce and go up and down and all that kind of thing. And then here's a car I saw today, actually, at the Street Machine Nationals. Very similar to this Chevy Caprice, although this is an Impala. And just a beautiful car, a beautiful example. A different style of lowrider than this one. This one's more traditional lowrider. And then this is more of a street machine lowrider. So that was a cool car. I saw this car today at the Street Machine Nationals, and you know, these are the types of cars that you can find locally. Maybe not so much a Corvette like this, but really decent cars that you can flip and make $2,000 or $3,000 or $5,000 in profit per car on eBay Motors. This is a whole different style of car. This is more European, you know, a Jaguar, but a beautiful style car. I saw this one today as well. One of my favorite stories is this red Camaro that I bought. I actually bought this car for $1,700. You can see right here. First of all, it made the cover of Hot Rod magazine, which is still mind-boggling to me that one of my cars made it on the cover. And what was really cool to me was that this was not a totally fixed up, customized, you know, $100,000 put into it car. This was a barn find, and technically it was a garage find. If it was in a garage, it was partially disassembled, and this made it on the cover of their Barn Finds edition, where it says, "Readers prove that treasures can still be found." My car, the car I bought using my strategies for finding and buying and flipping classic muscle cars, was on the cover of Hot Rod magazine. I couldn't think of a better compliment for Hot Rod magazine to pay than to show that I'm actually, you know, doing what I preach, and that is finding cars for a really low price and being able to flip them. So this car, 69 Camaro, which is really one of the ultimate muscle cars that people seek out and search for, I bought it for $1,700. I tell the whole story of this car in a course that I've created, all about flipping cars on eBay Motors, all about how to find them, buy them, and flip them on eBay Motors for big profits. So this is the car. If you look inside the magazine, it actually says David Espino 69 Camaro and David Espino 69 Mach 1. This is another car that I acquired using the strategies that I teach in my course. And it goes on, it says a little bit of the story. It says David Espino is one of the rare few who honed his barn finding skills, beginning with swap meet Hot Wheels. Interest renewed, and David began selling vintage Hot Wheels on eBay, and so on. It kind of tells the story. But this 69 Camaro practically fell into his lap. One day, David received a call from someone curious about the value of a 69 Camaro project car. Now, what it doesn't say in the story is that I had set up a system for people to call me with their classic muscle cars for sale. So I had a system set up for this, and so it didn't quite fall into my lap, but I did have a system that allowed it to fall into my lap, which I thought was very cool. So these are the cars I love to buy. If you love classic muscle cars, if you love classic cars of any type, and even if you want to buy regular standard cars and flip them on eBay, I have an entire course that walks you through how to do that. You can visit daveespino.com/muscle cars, and I've unlocked 3 of the videos so that you can preview them for free and get a sense of what this course is all about. So be sure to visit daveespino.com/muscle cars and check out those free previews of my course. I'll see you tomorrow on the Daily Hustle.